Families left in the cold, their homes up in smoke and flames, and now investigators say it was not an accident.
A case of mistaken identity at this ATM has a woman and her attorney fighting to fix her reputation.
A violent classroom fight shared thousands of times on Facebook. The real message it's spreading about the state of our schools.
But first, President Trump says he will support a pathway to citizenship for 1.8 million dreamers in the U.S. illegally. In exchange, the White House wants a $25 billion trust fund for a border wall and an end to the diversity visa lottery. Walmart is cutting 500 jobs from its home office just days after closing 63 Sam's Club stores. The cuts are part of an effort to compete with online retailers like Amazon. Starting next year, for the first time in its 223 years, Harvard's Hasty Pudding Theater Troupe is allowing women to join its cast. Currently, the only females allowed in are celebrities chosen as Person of the Year. And breaking right now, police say a teenage girl shot outside a home in southeast Atlanta has died. They're not releasing many details about her at this hour, but here's what we know. The shooting happened at around 5:30 on Greenleaf Circle. We're told the girl was shot at least once. She was rushed to Grady, but minutes ago, she died from her injuries. Police are now interviewing possible witnesses. So far, no arrests. Our 11 Alive digital team will keep you updated as soon as we get any new details. Also tonight, the hunt is on for a shooter whose bullets hit a 10-year-old girl. She was inside her home on Susan Lane. The little girl was hit in her backside and leg. She's in the hospital, but is expected to be okay. We're told the shots were fired from outside the house. If you know anything, please call Atlanta police. Now, imagine your friends and coworkers are scrolling through their news feeds online and they see a picture of you in a story about someone wanted for bank fraud. But you are 100% innocent and have absolutely nothing to do with the crime. Tonight, that story is real. And there's a woman in Conyers who is devastated. And Natisha Lance sat down with that woman who has now hired an attorney to try to fix her reputation and get that picture off of the internet. Natisha, what's the status of everything tonight?
Well, you know, Vinny, I just checked right before we went to air, and that picture is still posted on another local news website, despite being sent a cease and desist letter. And we are going to be showing that picture tonight that was posted, but we do want to make it clear that Tiara Moreland is completely innocent and has been cleared of all these allegations.
I just could not believe that this could happen.
A case of mistaken identity.
One of my coworkers, she was like, "You look like this girl that's on TV. She looks just like you."
Tiara Moreland was shocked to learn her picture was being shared on a local news website as a person of interest in a bank fraud case.
It's me, but I didn't do those things.
She was accused of charging $1,000 to someone else's bank account and forging a money order after trying to make a deposit at this region's bank ATM in December.
It's devastating. I'm gonna tell you, I can't even explain that feeling because it's horrible.
The allegations so damning, her employer put her on unpaid leave, giving her 72 hours to clear her name. That's when she hired attorney Chris Stewart for help. He sent a cease and desist letter to all the parties involved.
We talked to the Coweta County Sheriff's Department. They verified that Regions Bank sent them the wrong time-dated picture.
It was an hour off, seemingly a minor mistake that may have long-term effects on her reputation just by doing a simple search.
And that's the problem with the digital age is stuff just doesn't disappear. So if someone, a future employer, or if she ever ran for office or just did whatever, did a image search, then this would likely still come up.
In a statement to 11 Alive, Regions Bank says this should not have happened, and we sincerely apologize.
That's not enough, unfortunately.
Natisha, that unbelievable story right here.
Yeah, Vinny, and the Coweta County Sheriff's Office is still investigating this because the person responsible for that fraud is still out there. Tiara Moreland says that she is going back to work tomorrow, but at this point she says that she's not going to be going to any ATMs anytime soon, but her hope in sharing this story is that other people will not be victim to this like she was.
All right, thanks so much, Natisha. And coming up in a little bit, I'm going to chat with a couple of my legal dream team members about your rights. We're going to dig deeper into what you can do if you find yourself in a similar situation like this. A violent fight inside a Gwinnett County classroom has been shared thousands of times on social media tonight and has a lot of us asking, Are there more of these fights happening in schools now, or are we just seeing more of them because everyone feels compelled to record them on their phones and share it all over the place? Well, we did confirm with Gwinnett County Schools. This is a video from a 7th grade classroom on Monday at Creekland Middle School. You could see a girl hitting another girl with a chair and then much harder with her hand. The school has now taken action against the student. She's also facing criminal charges. And Joe Hankey joins us now. Joe, you went through the thousands of comments posted online. Are people sick of seeing these types of videos?
Well, to sum it up, Vinny, they are sick of seeing not only these videos, but just hearing of bullying in our classrooms. Thousands of you have commented and watched this video on our Facebook page, but we wanted help going through all of your comments and questions. We turned to Dr. Eric Fisher. He's in Gwinnett County. He's a longtime psychologist. He specializes in what he calls emotional dynamics, which includes the topic of bullying. Now, getting to the comments, one of the top comments reads, "And this is what happens when people are afraid to discipline their kids." Dr. Fisher says, yes, part of this needs to be examining the parents and their upbringing of their children, but society as a whole also needs to take part of the blame.
We need to look that we have grown this, we have bred this into our culture, and it's going to be up to changes. And even our political system is mirroring this, because our political system sells that you have to have power over people, that you're not honest, that you don't tell the truth, and that when you're in power, you do what you darn well please.
Another top comment we are getting reads, "Yet everyone is recording and not helping her. Pathetic." Fisher told me in these situations, many children and also even some adults just don't know how to react. They have not been trained, and that's why we need to have conversations with our children about these topics.
Wow, this happened in school. Does that happen in your school? Well, yeah, it does. Well, what do you do when that happens to help your kids become not bystanders that see these egregious actions happen and are glad it's not them, but become part of the solution to find solutions to stand up for the people being bullied?
And one other last comment here. This should have never happened in a classroom or anywhere else. Something like this is wrong on so many levels. Many of you have agreed with this comment. Fisher also agrees with this comment, but he says these videos of bullying only tell part of the story. We need to examine and learn about everything that led up to it so we can solve the problem.
There's no excuse for the behaviors that you see on these videos. There are explanations for what's going on, though, and that's where we have to really step back and not just point the finger at the persecutor.
And Vinny, Gwinnett County Schools, they tell us that they are handling or have handled this most recent example of bullying in one of their classrooms. We have their full statement about the students involved over on 11alive.com right now.
All right. Thanks so much, Joe. Hey, more shockwaves tonight after the sentencing of Dr. Larry Nassar. Remember, Dr. Nassar sexually molested over 100 young girls. He had access to all these girls because he was the doctor for USA Gymnastics and Michigan State University. Yesterday, he was sentenced to 175 years in prison. And late last night, Michigan State University's president stepped down. Lou Ann Simon denied knowing anything about any of the complaints against Nassar when he worked there. The NCAA has now launched an investigation into his time at the school, which could open the door to more victims coming forward and telling their stories. 156 young women and girls, including Olympians, spoke out at that sentencing hearing to talk about how he preyed on them when they were young girls. And as I said, he's going to be spending the rest of his life in prison. And this sex abuse scandal reaches across America, including right here in Georgia. We spoke exclusively to a lawyer who's suing USA Gymnastics. His client says she was sexually assaulted when she was 11 years old by her coach in Savannah. Bill McCabe is now serving 30 years for that crime. But attorney Brian Cornwell says USA Gymnastics knew McCabe was a concern long before the coach met his client.
They found out as soon as 1998 that Bill McCabe was potentially a pedophile and a menace to society. However, they didn't do anything about it until after my client's mother reported him to the FBI. The FBI eventually arrested him in 2006.
Now, before McCabe came to Savannah, he was a coach in Florida. The owner of the gym at that time raised concerns to USA Gymnastics. Cornwell says the group never investigated those allegations. Up next, service above and beyond and an incredible rescue that went viral.